mind you, that beer is more expensive. I'm holding in my hand right now a empty bottle of St. Peter's Winter Ale. Now, if you go to your beer store, wherever you buy your beer, or your liquor store, and you look for any St. Peter's beer, and that's just one of many, 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 you drink that beer and you realize, okay, yeah, this is the difference between craft beer and just store-bought macro, pump it out so we can make our money beer. That's the difference.
Just a quick note, if anybody wants to call in and talk to Craig, our call-in numbers are on our website, www.spectrumradionetwork.com, or I can give them out now. There's 4 lines, and it's
give them out.
1-530-413-4511 or 1-530-413-4515, 1-415-287-0074. So you can call in with any of those numbers.
If they go to your SpectrumRadioNetwork.com site, are they up right there? Where do they have to go?
Yeah, they're in the contact area of the www.spectrumradionetwork.com. You click contact, and all 4 numbers are there.
I mentioned to my viewers on a video recently, actually last night, that we might be accepting calls. So it would be great if we heard somebody call in. I don't know if
you can also Skype in to BBS Radio. BBS Radio has the ability to take Skype calls. They have a server, so if you want to call in on Skype, you can do that as well.
Of course, they have to add BBS Radio to their list, but yeah. I invite calls, so, and we can do this again too, guys. If you want to do a phone-in show, I'm all for it.
All right.
I get lots of questions.
So, Craig, now I'm not a beer person, but some of the stuff that I've seen you do seem a little bit too complicated for me. If I was a brand new person, if I want to take up this hobby, so I was wondering, is there like simple ways of just doing?
In other words, what video would you, or series of videos, or in what progression would you tell Tom to watch your videos on CraigTube?
Well, I have a little bit of house cleaning to do on my channel. My brewing videos and all my other videos are all mixed up, and the very first video series I did, which is a 4-part series, was done in 2007. I was nervous. I was a little bit green as far as other methods of making beer other than what I did. But if you follow those procedures, and I've annotated them and made some updates to the videos, they're very simple. If you buy a beer kit, as example, as I mentioned before, like a Cooper's beer kit, and I mentioned Cooper's because I use their product. The beer kit comes with instructions, and your homebrew supplier, if you watch my original series of videos, I think they're called Homebrewing the Easy Way, is I think what they're called, although I may change the title to Easy Homebrewing. That's what I call them now. But if you watch those, you'll learn the equipment that you need, and it's very inexpensive to get started. And again, if you can make hard-boiled eggs or, make craft dinner or whatever, you can make beer. And then you either may be happy with that and you may say, hey, I'm making beer, I'm fine, I'm good, I don't need to do anything else. Or you may say, this is interesting, and I've heard of some other techniques, let me try more. And then you'll say, well, I can add this to it, and I can do this to it, and maybe I can try that. And then you go as far as you want. The complications, with any hobby, I think it's important to start with a simple setup. If you're talking about ham radio, you don't want, a whole room full of transmitters and I don't know anything about ham radio, but you start simple with just a ham radio and a microphone, and you build your system from there. You don't want to overwhelm yourself with all this stuff and instructions and procedures and things that you need to do, because you will not listen. Some of the questions I get, like, why isn't my airlock bubbling, or, you know, how come there's this foam on top? I mean, these people are really new to it, really, really new. And if they're asking questions like that are basically real basic questions, what the heck would they be doing if they were doing it the more complicated way, where there's a lot more to worry about than just, you know, those things? So my angle of it is start simple, work your way up to a point where you're happy with what you're getting.
We got a call. We got Brian on line 3.
Brian. Okay.
Hi.
Hey, Brian.
Hi, Craig.
Hey, Brian.
Hey, how are you? Hey, you
Brian,
know, you really got me into brewing, actually. I've been at it for about 3 months now and had some beers come out pretty good.
Cool.
I just wanted to say here in the U.S., it is cheaper. A lot of people do it here as a hobby because it is cheaper here in the U.S., but it's not cheaper if you want good beer, as you were talking about before, like a lot of the macro beers. That's cheaper, but I just wanted to make that point that if you want good beer here in the U.S., it is still kind of pricey, and so that's why I started.
Okay,
because
that makes sense.
I can't really, yeah.
So you're saying that Craig got you into this, or helped you along?
Yeah, he. Well, I mean, I wanted to start brewing because if you want good beer, it can be expensive. You know, even here in the U.S., you can get the swill cheap, but if you want good beer, it's pricey. So I had that going forward, the desire to basically save money and have good beer. And so, you know, I started looking into how to do it, and Craig is, you know, how I learned how to do that. So just want to say thanks, Craig, and
oh, hey,
you know,
hey, no
keep
problem.
the videos up.
That's good to hear. Thank you so much. And I agree with you that some of the more expensive beers are but yeah, still, yeah, no, absolutely. Good point. Good point.
So, Craig,
Right. Well,
what's
thanks
your
Thank you
like?
for your call.
What's your like favorite type of beer that you make?
Did I make?
Yes.
On an ongoing basis, I like lager beer. I like ale, lighter ales. In the summer, I like lighter beers, lighter colored beers. Some of the beers that I've made with the kits, there's a English Bitter by Cooper's, which I absolutely love, and it is popular. In fact, my supplier ran out of it. Somebody was kind enough to send me. I can't. some of these people that watch my stuff are so kind, and I did a video a little while ago, and I said I couldn't get the Cooper's English Bitter because my supplier ran out. They're on back order, and a guy that lives not too far from me, I think somewhere in Ontario, he sent me 2 cans of Cooper's English Bitter and said, it's probably because of me, because I bought 4 cans, so here's 2 of them for you. And, you know, I mean, this is the kind of thing that, you know, that that happens. I'm just doing what I do. And if it's working for people, then that's awesome. But back to your question, I love the dark beers. I love it when I can take some liquid malt extract, say a beer kit like a Cooper's, let's say a Cooper's English Bitter, and add some grains to it. Do a partial extract brew with that, and put some maybe extra hops in there. Ferment that up, put it in a keg, carb it up a little bit. That's a good beer. It's easy, doesn't take very long. Dark ale, that's another one of my favorites. Look, I brew a lot of Cooper's homebrew kits because it gets me, I make better beer than what I buy when I go to the store. And as the caller, as Brian mentioned, if I go to the liquor store and I buy a St. Peter's beer, which is my favorite beer company, brand of beer. There's different, they've got the dark ale, and they've got the stout and all that kind of stuff. That beer, I think you've got to do quite a bit to a beer kit to get it to taste like that, but you can do it, adding some extra grains and things like that. I love porters. I love English style beers, bitter beers. That's my favorite style of beer.
You also make wine and something called inmate beer.
Oh yeah, or inmate brew.
Inmate brew. Can you tell me about that?
The thing about fermentation is that you can ferment just about anything with sugar in it. So
right.
Wine, of course, we won't get in. I mean, wine is grapes, and you take the juice out of them. And there's a whole industry making wine, and the Italians have and the French people that got their pressing machines. They press the grapes and they do all this stuff. I haven't done that, but you can buy wine kits as well as beer kits, and basically it's the same idea. You get the juice that's been dehydrated and you add your water to it and you make wine. You could make some pretty damn good wines from those kits. As far as the inmate brew goes, now inmate brew, people might say, well, what the hell is that? Well, inmates, in a jail, they want to drink, so they know how brewing works. They take some juice from the cafeteria and some bread, which has yeast in it.
Right. They
throw it in the back of their toilet or in a garbage bag or some sort of container, and they let it rip. They ferment it and they get whatever they get. It probably tastes really bad, but they can catch a buzz off it.
Craig's actually got a video on how to make inmate brew.
We don't do it in garbage bags or toilets, though.
No.
We actually use, you buy a bottle of juice, like let's say cranberry cocktail, apple juice, as long as it doesn't have preservatives in it. You'd open the bottle, you take some of the juice out, you add a couple cups of sugar to it. Don't, watch the video. Don't just do it the way I'm saying it now, because you might end up killing yourself. If you can make methanol, which is not a healthy thing. I've got videos on making inmate brew, which are very, very safe and easy. You put the sugar in there, you put some yeast in there, you add some sort of a device that will allow the carbon dioxide to escape but not let air in, like you can use a balloon or an actual airlock. It's all on the videos. And you've basically gone to the grocery store and bought yourself a bottle of juice, a little bit of sugar, yeast, which you can get in the baker's aisle, or if you want to get some brewer's yeast, that's probably the better idea. Mm-hmm. Mix that all up, and a week or two or a month later, you've got a pretty darn good tasting drink. And you catch a buzz. I mean, you've got 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10% alcohol in that. So, making your own alcohol is not hard. But be careful, because you have, you can't just ferment sugar and water, because you're going to get other substances, other types of alcohol that aren't good for you. So, follow the procedures on the inmate brewing videos and you'll be fine. And it's an experiment. It's actually a great way to figure out how fermentation works and become less scared of making beer or whatever it is you're going to decide to make in the future.
Well, and the ways you do it are safe. I mean, you teach a safe way. You go through.
I've tried all of them. I've drank them all, and none of them. No, they're fine.
And you're still here.
I'm still here. And if I did something that made me very sick, I would definitely post a video saying, "Don't do this."
Yeah. The other thing I wanted to mention just cover a little bit is that your channel, CraigTube, on YouTube, isn't just about brewing. I mean, the vast majority of your videos are on brewing, but you also have a series called Craig's Kitchen, where you teach people simple ways of cooking and recipes, and you go through the whole process.